Thanks for inviting me to speak tonight. I'm honored to be here to represent the Moscone family. My mom, Gina. Sister Jennifer, my brothers Christopher and Jonathan, my husband Craig, who's out here, and my daughter, light of my life, Mia, who's somewhere here too. Thank you. 25 years ago, my life was forever changed with the loss of my father. He was my mentor, my role model, my idol. The city was suddenly drained of color, lifeless and gray. I can recall the moment as if it was just yesterday. 25 years ago, my family experienced a huge loss that still leaves a huge void in our lives today. Tonight, we're here to remember our past and hold dear the memory and legacy of my father and Harvey Milk. We also march towards our future and the goal of rebuilding a stronger, more courageous and celebrated city. My father taught me to stand up for what I believe in and to be heard. He taught me to take chances, always be out there, and to learn from my mistakes. Most of all, he taught me to live life with a passion and to make every day count just as he did. In turn, my husband and I have tried to live our lives this way and to pass these virtues on to my daughter. Thanks, Dad, for what you've given me. We must continue to be passionate and courageous and to teach our children to be involved, compassionate, and to be heard. Thank you for your commitment to change that is evident tonight as we commemorate the past and celebrate the future. Thanks, everybody.
I am, as Harvey might say, I'm very famished because I didn't know that Gina and her daughters were going to be here, and it means so much to us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's an Italian-American family, and it's not the Sopranos. And I want to tell you, they're a class act. I've loved and respected them ever since, you know, and for them to be here really warms my heart because it means that we are, in fact, an extended family. As I often like to say, dysfunctional, but extended. Yeah, Harvey was an amazing man in many ways. He was an ordinary man in many ways. He was a big queen diva in many ways. I wish that Harry Britt could be here tonight. Harry cannot. He was heartbroken that he couldn't be. He's off doing God's work, and you know, God, she keeps him very busy. But we did a little panel the other night at New College where Harry talked about why was George and why was Harvey murdered. It was a very moving and very powerful presentation. And looking at Harry, I felt so inspired because, you know, Harry was the reluctant bride. Harry didn't want to be center stage. You know, the murders, unfortunately, put him center stage. And when I remember the speeches Harry made about gay rights and humanity rights and things like living wage and transgender rights, and all the labels weren't there in those days, but the feeling and the verbiage was there, I realized how much courage he had, because the guy who said all that before him was murdered. And the mayor who supported the right of that guy to say that was also murdered. But that didn't stop him. That didn't keep him from being out of touch with his soul or with his heart or making those murders mean something else than violence works. No, it doesn't work. You can kill the leaders, but you can't kill the spirit. You can murder the movers and shakers, but you can't kill the family. Never, never. And in that extreme act of pettiness, because it was petty, when you look at why Dan White did what he did and you get through all the psychology 101 and the Twinkie defense and did he have enough fiber to shit good, when you look at it, it was petty. It was petty. It was all about I should have had and I should have had and you should have not. Well, I am sorry. And yes, lately I'm hearing it wasn't homophobic that he shot Harvey Milk. Bullshit. Of course it was homophobic. And it was homophobic when he shot George too, because George was not homophobic. We need to be on alert, boys and girls. We need to be on alert. We've had an extraordinary 25 years. You know, a rocket ship to Mars in 25 years. We've made some mistakes, but we've made great advances. And you know what? We still aren't there. We still are not there. Whose fault is that? Not our fault. But we can't be complacent. We can't desert George. We can't desert Harvey. We have to know that there's people like Santorum, and there's liberal accommodationists, and there's left entitlement, all working against. One thing I loved about Harvey Milk, he was unabashedly queer. Queer, queer, queer. Don't forget it. I'd like to sit down sometime and have a real talk with the Mosconi family. I'd like to know what their struggles have been over the past years. What I struggle with is something that's probably very redemptive, and that is forgiveness. And I keep struggling with that. You know, no matter what Archbishop Levada says, I'm still a Catholic boy. That's how it is, folks. Take it or leave it. And this is the voice, by the way, Archbishop. Forgiveness is, I know, redemptive. It's very hard, you know, being Italian. There's an Italian saying that revenge is best served cold, okay? But I want to reach that level of forgiveness. And you know, there's a way to accomplish revenge, maybe not in the terms of the intensity of that term, but there's ways to get people elected and ways to change laws and way to educate people. There's all that. And in a sense, I suppose you could call that revenge. It might be a little harsh. But the thing is, we can't quit, and we cannot be assured that what we have now will always be there. So I urge you all to keep up the good fight. And even when things get a little sucky, we should all feel good about each other. We've all had great losses. We have great gains to make. We should never forget, never forget, never forget. Thank you so much.